Recently, my bearded dragon has been needing a tank upgrade. She went from a 40-gallon to 75-gallon. My name is Stella, and today I'm going to be showing you my bearded dragon's tank setup, and I'm going to be giving a Zen Habitat's enclosure review. I'm joined with my bearded dragon, Pixie. I hope you enjoyed that little montage that I did of my bearded dragon. Moving on to the enclosure setup. So for the enclosure surface, what I use is a Zen mat. I happen to really like this product because my bearded dragon grips on with her nails really well, and it's very cleanable. The only thing I don't like is that the calcium is kind of hard to clean, but that's not really much of an issue. And I'll have the links in the description below. Moving on, we're going to talk about this log over here. So this log can serve as a form of an enrichment because your bearded dragon can bask on it, or they can hide inside of it. So I use this as more of a enrichment thing so that my bearded dragon can hide in there, because I already have a basking platform for my bearded dragon, and yeah. And moving on, so what I use for my food dish or vegetable dish, I use just a jar, and it's much cheaper than getting a professional cup of a professional bowl of food for your reptile. So just a tip, you can use lids of peanut butter jars. This happens to be a lid of a wax foam jar, so anything of that sort. However, if you use jars, it kind of tends to fall out a bit more. So yeah, and the food tends to fall out a bit more when you use a peanut butter jar or something of that sort, because it's has less height, if that makes sense. So yeah, and my bearded dragon doesn't like to eat her vegetables, just like every other bearded dragon on the planet. So yeah, I try my best. Moving on, I'm going to be talking about the basking rock that I use. I got this basking rock from PetSmart, and I happen to really like it because it has a lot of enrichment because of the plants, and my bearded dragon loves to climb on the rock by just sitting and basking on it. And the rock absorbs a lot of heat, so it gives her enough belly heat without burning her. And so I think that that's really good. And if she has the option to climb on the tree, as you can see, that's attached to the rock. However, I would like to mention that the rock is very porous, so if your bearded dragon happens to poop on it, it might be a little bit hard to clean. But my bearded dragon doesn't poop on her basking rock, so that's good for me. Moving on, I use a real plant. The plant that I use, I actually don't remember what its name is. My mom actually just bought a plant that she thought would look nice, like a desert plant. And I'm actually not sure what the name of this plant is, but I'll have the name of the plant in the description below. I'm pretty sure I got it at Lowe's or something. Yeah, but this is a real plant. And I would like to mention that the plant is edible for my bearded dragon if she ever wanted to eat it. So if you would like real plants in the enclosure of your bearded dragon, you have to make sure that the plants are safe for them. So yeah, always do your research about what decorations you're going to get and whatnot. So moving on to the other side of the enclosure, I have this wooden branch. This branch was given to me for free when I was getting the enclosure, and I'll have more of the backstory of how I got this enclosure later on in the video, which will be when I'm doing the review of the enclosure. But I happen to really like this branch thing because my bearded dragon can climb on these ledges a lot, and it's pretty easy for her to climb, and it serves as something really good for enrichment. So yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but she has an obstacle course of her basking rock to the log to the branch. So if you can be however creative as you want when making your lizards or snakes enclosure. Now I have a water dish. So I actually don't use this water dish like for her to drink out of, and I actually don't know why I have a plant and like I don't know why I have a piece of lettuce in there. Well, not lettuce. That's some kind of like vegetable. Ignore that I have a vegetable in there. But I don't use this water for her drinking because she doesn't drink out of a bowl. She drinks in the bath. The water is used for to help humidity because in winter it's very dry. At least where I live. Moving on, there's this really nice plant that I got from PetSmart, and I happen to really like it because it fits in with the enclosure, and I have it wrapped around the branch, and it's also in the water dish a little. So yeah. And my bearded dragon doesn't really climb on the plant, but she still happens to. It just serves as decoration, is what I'm trying to say. Next, I have a piece of tile. Now, I had this to help my bearded dragon, like, rub her nails off, so that, like, it helps me without cutting her nails. But, you still have to cut your bearded dragon's nails every once in a while. Next, I have a, cricket dish. This is just dry food. She doesn't really eat dry food, but this is just in case of emergencies when we run out of food. So this is what the dry cricket food looks like. I use Fluker. Moving on. Now I have a basking rock that counts as a hide. So originally in her old 40-gallon enclosure, she would bask on this thing, but now she has a new basking spot over there. And I don't know if you noticed, but she just climbed on her branch. So that's why you should always be creative with the enclosures. Anyways, as I was continuing. So my bearded dragon has the option to go inside. And I got this pink little cloth thing because originally I had a pink bed that my mom bought her. But then we didn't really use it in the enclosure. So we just took the cloth out and we put it inside the rock. And she happens to sleep in the rock hide a lot. This is what the pink bed looks like. It's flipped inside out. It's actually a pig bed. And so we would use that, and there was the cloth inside of it, but instead we just put the cloth in the rock. And my bearded dragon happens to like the cloth in the rock a lot more better because I noticed that she sleeps inside the hide a lot more. So yeah. The cloth is also very soft, so it's not going to hurt my bearded dragon anyway whatsoever. And last but not least, I have this just like squishy toy. So I actually had no place to put it. So I just put it in the enclosure, and my bearded dragon like completely ignores it. She doesn't even go on it or do anything, but it just serves as a decoration. Now I quickly forgot to show you guys something, but if you see that plant, there's a fake plant right there. You missed it, but there's a fake plant next to the water dish. Yeah, that one. And I forgot to talk about it. So that's just something that serves as decoration. And remember, everything will be linked in the description below. So now I have a UVB bulb that I want to talk about. I think that this is a 12 watt. I actually don't remember, but I got it from it's an Arcadia bulb, I believe. And so I just used huge zip ties to attach it. And I don't know if you can notice, but Zen Habitats has these really cool things where they have these like pole things. Yeah, I'm pointing at it. And it's used so that you can like attach like the zip ties, and that's really cool. Moving on to my heat bulb. So I actually use a light dimmer heat bulb. I got it from, I think it was PetSmart. I don't exactly remember the brand, but I'll have everything linked in the description below. And it was a 100 watt, I believe. Next, I have a 14% UVB that I wanted to show you because, fun fact, UVB runs out after 6 to 7 months. And so when the bulb needs to be replaced, I'm going to use this one. And the 14% UVB bulb is very strong, so I'm going to use it on the mesh instead of inside the enclosure like I'm doing. But my bearded dragon really likes it inside the enclosure, and I like it inside the enclosure too. So after the 14% UVB runs out, I'll just put a 12 watt one inside the enclosure. Also, I'll have everything linked in the description below. Now I'm going to be reviewing the Zen Habitats enclosure. So quick story about how I got the enclosure. So someone was actually selling it online and it was used, but it was in really good condition and they were selling it for $150. And if you don't know, Zen habitats are, I believe, $300. So that was a really good price. But then, even better, they had extra lighting that they didn't need. And so they just increased the price to $175 with the lighting. That's like such a good thing. And so that's how we got the enclosure for a really good price. So if you want to get an enclosure for your lizard or snake, but some of it's too expensive, you have to just keep your eyes open online. Okay, so now it's time for my overall review of the Zen Habitats enclosure. My review is a 9 out of 10. I absolutely love the Zen Habitats enclosure. It was pretty easy to put together and take apart, and when I got the enclosure, it was already put together, but we had to take it apart for some things. The Zen Habitats enclosure was also pretty easy to maneuver. I mean, the sliding doors were really nice because before, when I kept my bearded dragon in a 40 gallon, they had these little button things where you would press on them and then the doors open. But the problem is, like, mine actually broke, like the doors broke. So I really like how Zen Habitats has sliding doors because it's much more easier to maneuver. I also give it a 9 because I like how they put a little thing where you stick the cords in. But if you have snakes and you want to keep them in, you would have to cover that with something, or you won't have to put that at all because they would escape from that. But if you're keeping snakes and you want to put it in the Zen Habitats enclosure and it has the little thingamajig in the back. But if you want to keep snakes in the Zen Habitats enclosure and if it has the little thing in the back where you stick the cords in, you you will want to not include that because a snake will definitely escape from there. I also give this a 9 because my bearded dragon has been enjoying it a lot. She's been very active, and in her previous 40-gallon enclosure, she wasn't that active, and I really like how active she's become, and she moves around a lot in her enclosure. Also, I just want to mention, when I got the enclosure, it came with a little sand barrier, and so I didn't know how to take it out, and I was trying to fit all the hides and enclosure decorations and stuff, and it wouldn't fit. So you should be mindful that if you do use sand as a substrate, it's going to be kind of hard to get the hides in, so you have to be kind of careful about that. Anyways, this is why I really enjoy the Zen Habitats enclosure. It's been serving me pretty well for the past couple of days I've been keeping my bearded dragon in there. So if you want a good enclosure to keep your reptile in, and you don't know which one to choose, you should definitely get a Zen Habitats, except they can be a little bit pricey, so just keep your eye out online for anything cheaper So this is personally my experience with Zen Habitats, and my bearded dragon seems to be enjoying it pretty well too. So, anyways, remember to comment any video ideas you have down below, and I'll see you next time. It was pretty easy to put together and disassemble it. Is disassemble a word? I don't know. It was pretty easy to disassemble and assemble. It's been serving me pretty well for the